Oh, brethren, it's wonderful to be on the Sabbath in the first place, to be here, to be part of this great work that God is doing. Like Jonathan said in the prayer, thank you for the privilege of even being here at all. Think of it, brethren. Think of being called. God is working out a fantastic thing to have made the earth, to have formed a people in his image, and then to call these certain ones that he had for his own reasons in his wisdom, because he would know who would work best for his purposes that will glorify him. This is for his glory. And then for us to come to know him, become loving God, and your obedience to him isn't only because you are told to, it's because you love him. Like loving your dad or your mom. You don't just obey them because they said so. You do what they said because you love them. Well, he loves us way more than we know. And so this sermonette is just something I'm putting together. The title of it is Jesus, Our Chief Cornerstone. And in light of what I just said about God calling us, Jesus, our chief cornerstone. This has been a tumultuous week. We've had several tumultuous weeks lately. If you're watching, you know people are dying, people have gotten killed, assassinated. We've had attempts on assassinations. Different things are happening, big things are happening around the world. And it's so chaotic. It's like, whoa, what? Don't ask. I remember learning this question. Don't ask it, Bill. I used to say, no, don't ask it. Don't ask what could get worse. Don't ask that, ever. Never ask that. Always ask, Father, what can I do next? What can I do now? How can I improve? How can I be preparing? And so I would like to have us consider Jesus, our chief cornerstone. What is the cornerstone of a building? It's that stone at the corner that's got everything is based upon that stone. It's got to be level. It's got to be correct. If it's going to be north or south or east or west or whatever it's going to be, that cornerstone is what everything else is built on. That stone. And it's got to be correct. And so when it is, everything else is built upon it and everything else is correct. Well, who is our chief cornerstone? Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And that's to whom we go. Do we compare ourselves with Jesus? Where is Bill in relationship to Jesus? Well, maybe Jesus, he's not maybe, he's straight, okay? You can read in different places in the Bible, do a study sometime on the plumb line. Look up plumb line or the plumb. When you hang a line from the ceiling or roof, it's got to be straight. Well, Jesus is the one who's straight. But you look at Bill and he's a little crooked, a little bit off here and there, you know. And he's trying to get me to get straight so that I'm even with him. And so all of us are in that way, in that boat. But let's look for a moment at his example. We look at Romans chapter 9 and verse 30 and 33. Please turn there, Romans 9. There are dozens and dozens of sermon scriptures we could look at, but for this message, we'll just look at a couple here today. See, what shall we say then? This is verse 30 of Romans 9 out of the New King James. What shall we say then? That Gentiles who did not pursue righteousness have attained righteousness, even the righteousness of faith. But Israel, pursuing the law of righteousness, has not attained to the law of righteousness. How can that be? That's a strange thing, isn't it? The Gentiles did get it, but Israel didn't get it. Why? It says in verse 32, because they did not seek it by faith. but as it were by the works of a law, for they stumbled at that stumbling stone. As it is written, behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone, a rock of offense, and whoever believes on him will not be put to shame. Coincidentally, for the builders, Jesus is the chief, he's the stone, the chief cornerstone, but they stumbled at the stone. We could go, it's a whole sermon for that. How did that happen? This section of Scripture comes from the book of Isaiah. He picked it up from Isaiah, Paul. Isaiah chapter 8. It comes from Isaiah chapter 8, as it turns out. And here we go with verse 11 to 15. It says in verse 11, Isaiah 8, for the Lord spoke thus to me with a strong hand, and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, do not say a conspiracy concerning all that this people call a conspiracy, nor be afraid of their threats, or be troubled. The Lord of hosts, him you shall hallow. Let him be your fear. Let him be your dread. He will be a sanctuary, but a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, as a trap and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And as many as among them shall stumble, they shall fall and be broken, be snared and taken. In Isaiah 9 and verse 6 and 7, it says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder. And his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. Upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and justice, from that time forward even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. And Jesus' ministry, when he first came, was rejected. He was the rock of offense, the stone of offense. They were offended at him. Are we ever offended at him? When we think about our duty as those who do accept him, as was noticed this week of someone who did seek the Sabbath, who sought it, who kept it as best he could, and he was killed because of it, because somebody didn't like that. It was an offense to him, the one who did the shooting. What do we do that could be offensive to those who don't like this message? There are many that don't like this message. Remember, it said that the people turned from the one who was the stone. They objected to it and they rejected it. And our world continues to reject the one who could save them, the one who would rescue them, the one who would give them life, the one who did give them life. They reject. It's the irony of irony, the most paradoxical thing that could happen for men who are the fruit of his doing. They reject, of course, fueled by an adversary. So where does that leave us? in whom do we depend? Who is your cornerstone? Who is the one you compare your plumb line to? Like I said, Bill is all over the place. He can be over here, over there, wandering. But the more and more I go, the more days go by, weeks go by, months go by, years go by. This will be my 53rd feast this year. First one was 1972. What have I learned in all this time? You know, but he has been, as I say, it's like chiseling out a sculpture. And I'm going to be, you've ever seen a sculpture of a man, but the pieces that are here and there and all over that don't belong there, you know, and he takes a hammer and a chisel, bang, 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 and gets that piece off of me, because it doesn't belong there. It doesn't fit the mold of the statue he's making. Each of us have chunks and pieces on us. They're spiritual things. There are things going on in our heads that have to be chiseled out to where now when he's getting us prepared to fit the place where he's got for us. I go and prepare a place for you. Gonna fit in that place. And I've got this thing on me that, well, that doesn't go in there, Bill. Got to get that off. Well, thanks. and she does her part, I tell you. But anyway, that's why we're here, though. We're here as brethren, as brothers and sisters, and we're all doing this for each other, too. And he does it through us and with us. It's amazing how he has assembled this group with all of our whatever we have and preparing us, because we're all being prepared for something wonderful. And we'll go to the feast and have more. So let's get to it.